The 90s. No smartphones, no social media, just floppy disks, dial-up modems, and a handful of nerdy teenagers trying to find meaning in pixels and DOS prompts. Back then, trust was your currency, and betrayal. That cut deeper than any FPS headshot. Let me take you back to a time before TikTok, before Steam. Back to when I was just a teenage gamer with a stack of floppy disks, a best friend, and a thirst for games we could barely afford. A time when a new kid walked into our lives and turned everything upside down. It was 1994. I was 16. My best friend Matt and I were part of a very exclusive underground society of PC gamers. Now, back then gaming wasn't what it is today. There was no Steam library, no YouTube reviews. Just dusty shelves in tech stores with overpriced shrink-wrapped boxes and maybe, if you were lucky, a pixelated screenshot on the back. We couldn't afford new games often. So we did what any desperate teen would. Pooled our allowances, ordered games by airmail from overseas, and shared everything. We copied what we could, even the elaborate manual-based copy protection. Monkey Island, Doom 2, SimCity 2000, The Settlers. Those games were our treasures. It wasn't just about playing. It was about surviving the boring world around us by diving into pixelated ones we could control. Then he arrived. Eric. Tall, smug, always grinning like he knew something. No kid. Transferred in from another school midterm. He wasn't like us. He had better shoes, nicer clothes, and most importantly, access to games. Lots of them. He told us his uncle worked for a tech distributor, and stacks of games just lying around. And we looked at each other. This guy was a gold digger, so we struggled with him. He'd give us copies of his uncle's treasure trove. First couple of trades. Garbage. The floppy would be corrupted, missing a disc, or worse, copy protection broken so the game wouldn't even boot past the splash screen. At first, we chalked it up to bad luck, but it kept happening. And Eric, he was building a library. We saw our games in his bag. He even lent some to other kids. We had nothing to show for it. It all came to a head one afternoon. I was sitting in my room, trying for the third time to install the copy of Day of the Tentacle Eric had returned. Disc 2 wouldn't boot. I had just installed a new sound card. I wanted this game so badly. Instead, all I got was the blue screen of failure. That was it. Months of effort. Money gone. Games scratched. Our originals lost to someone who clearly didn't care. And to add salt to the wound, Eric had the audacity to mock me for being upset. You're acting like it's a big deal, bro. It's just games. Well, it was never just games. It was our world, our escape, our trust, and it had been spit on. Matt and I were done being doormats. And fate, well, it gave us the perfect opportunity. Around this time, our school arranged a field trip. Some city-organized health awareness campaign. The whole 11th grade was being bused to a civic center for an AIDS awareness event hosted by a foundation. It was a bit awkward for most of us. Talks about HIV, safe sex, being tolerant toward the LGBTQ+ community. Eric, being Eric, sat in the back row, whispering homophobic jokes. He knew I was a Queen fan. Used to laugh at me for idolizing Freddie Mercury. Why would you listen to a gay guy? He'd sneer. That hit different. Freddie had died only a few years back. The world was still raw. I was still raw. But something clicked. That night, Matt and I started planning. At home, I booted up my old 386. The inkjet word to life. We drafted a letter. Official looking. Printed on cheap letterhead we'd mocked up the Foundation style. Here's what it said. Dear Eric, thank you for your letter. We understand it can be difficult coming to terms with your sexuality, especially in a conservative household. We applaud your courage in reaching out to innocent kinds of medicine. Please follow the post and informative flyers and care-free guidance. Practice safe sex always and we triple-checked it this morning, made it look professional. Then we stuffed it into a plain envelope. added the real foundation's return address in the corner, slid in the event flyers we had snagged, and 4 bright red condoms with the foundation's logo printed on the wrappers. Finally, we addressed the envelope not to Eric, but to Mr. Eric's last name, his father. We mailed it the next morning, and waited. Took 5 days. On the 6th, Eric didn't show up to school. When he finally did return, he looked like he hadn't slept in a week. The usual swagger. His eyes were hollow. He wasn't talking to anyone. He sat in the back silent. We overheard whispers. His mom had found the letter first. Screamed so loud the neighbors heard. His dad, furious, accused him of hiding things. Said they'd raised him better. He was grounded indefinitely. No TV, no computer, no games. Mission accomplished. Almost. We had to know. So Matt and I, subtle as teenage boys could be, prodded, dropped hints. So, hear anything from that foundation. His reaction told us everything. Ill, nervous, then rage. You two think this is funny, he hissed one lunch break. You think this is a joke. We just smiled. Eric told the principal. We were called in. My parents, Matt's parents, Eric's. The fake letter was printed and placed in front of us in the office like some sort of murder weapon. You boys created this. We confessed. No lies. No stammering. Just quiet pride. I remember the principal rubbing his temples like he wanted to teleport to another job. He was torn. The prank was malicious, sure, but clever. The kind of revenge that didn't involve fists. Just painful irony. Our punishment. Formal apology. 2 weeks of detention. Call home. A permanent note in our school record. Worth it. Every. Eric never traded games again. He kept his distance. Told people we were psychos. That we hacked his life. But he never got his reputation. And us. We moved on. Upgraded to Cedars. Then LAN parties. Built our own rigs. Eventually college skills. Matt became a program. I went into digital media. But sometimes late at night when I was sketching I did out loud the scratch on the Monkeyisland box from when Eric had dropped it. I remember it all. The betrayal, the rage, the revenge, narrator voiceover. It's been 30 years, and I'm not proud of who I was. A petty teen with a vendetta and access to an inkjet. But I'll say this. Sometimes revenge isn't about justice. It's about balance. About making sure people learn that what they do has consequences. So to Eric, if you're out there somewhere, I hope you treat people better now. And if not, I still have that original Doom 2 copy.